There we go. Lovely.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Animal House Radio Show. We are here live with a living legend in every sense of the word.
God
He's
bless
been
you.
on our show before, and he's an amazing guest. He's one of my favorite um, actors, and he's taken some time out of his busy schedule. And this was a last minute thing, and so I want to thank him profusely for that. Please welcome back on Animal House Radio via American Forces Network, the legendary Kelsey Grammer.
I just tell.
Good
Hello, boys.
morning, Kelsey.
Good to
How are
see you,
you?
man. I'm really well. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks to everybody out there.
It's been a while since we caught up with you.
Yeah.
You know, right off the bat, let's hit the ground running. The success of the reboot.
Thank
Fill
you.
us in. What else we got going on now?
Yeah. Well, it's the reboot's been really great, and I think they're going to give us another run at it. It's like it's a weird world, the streaming world now. In terms of our
Yeah.
industry, but so we've done our 10. This 10 came out. People are watching. They're streaming it now. I think it's being pretty well received. We had a fun thing happen over at Delta Airlines a while ago. They asked me to fly in and meet some of their passengers in the Delta lounge because apparently the show streams on Delta like it's their number one show. So I was very happy to hear
Oh
that.
wow. Okay,
Great.
that's awesome.
And I'll go anywhere to kind of keep the show going.
That's right.
But
Um.
I'm really pleased with it. I'm really excited about the show. It's been great, and I spent all those years working on this format, this kind of
Yeah.
show, and
Yeah.
it's turned out really well. I had a great night. I was directing the final episode for this season, and I stood there on stage, and I thought to myself, you know what? You're finally good at something.
Oh please. You know
I know,
you
it
got
really.
6 Emmys to prove that you're good at
But it was
something.
truly gratifying, and it's been nice to see people the sort of the warmth with which they receive the character and receive the new shows
Right.
characters as well. So, but other than that, what I got going on is my family and Christmas, and that's pretty much taken up most of the things. I'm working on. I can show you this. This is that's my my foot. I just had operated on. Well, not just had operated
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry.
That's October 16th. That was operated on. It's still in a cast. It finally comes off on January 6th. So
Oh wow. So you're
everything's kind of
convalescing.
just, yeah, I'm convalescing, sort of percolating. I went and shot a movie in England. That was kind of fun, but
Oh, cool.
because it was all the action took place inside the gondola of an air balloon. The basket.
Yep.
Okay.
We could shoot above the cast.
Oh, there you
So
go. I
it was
like
pretty
that.
funny.
You
And
have to adapt, right? You have to
there was a
adapt and
fight scene
overcome.
and all kinds of crap. I had to kind of negotiate by putting little um, columns up to sort of lean my knee on so I could thrust myself across the gondola without actually hurting my foot. So it
Oh
was,
my gosh.
Are you going around with one of those little carriages where you put your leg on it and you get the little?
yeah, I got a scooter. Yeah,
Get the little
Oh
that's
my
what I've
gosh.
got. But what's really funny is I've been looking down at my knees lately, and I'm going like, wait a minute, what happened to my knee? So I look like an old surfer, used to knee paddle. So
Yeah.
I got what they call a knobby knee. It's got something on it. I'm trying to get it to reduce down now, but it looks like a big bump, and my other knee's fine.
When we hear Kelsey Grammer, we don't associate that with the word knobby knees.
No, we don't, as a rule.
So Kelsey, let me ask you. When you first, I mean, I know this was years in the making, and I know you didn't want to do the reboot until it was just right.
Yeah.
Um, was there a lot of apprehension that you weren't going to create the lightning in a bottle like the last time?
Well, a lot of people kind of pinned their hopes to reviving all the characters from the old show. As it turned
Right.
out, David didn't really want to come back. So, um, what was kind of remarkable about that and definitive was that, he said no. Okay. So we had to go a different way. And
Right.
it was a freeing moment in a weird way. It just meant we had to get creative and go back to some ideas that we'd never really done before. And that was to go back to Boston and rediscover who Frazier is in a different setting, as well as the relationship with his son. And what's funny is that bit by bit, we're slowly going where I thought we would go. It's The Good Son was the name of the first show, the very first one. That was the first pilot. The pilot of this episode of this incarnation is The Good Father. So I'm slowly becoming John Mahoney.
Right. You're
I mean, in a somewhat mannered way, but still. But that
I,
that energy is kind of in there. This relationship between a father and a son that actually is, the son becomes the father becomes the son. There's there's beautiful kind of trajectory in that, and
yeah,
so the foundation for the show is love, and it always was love. So,
right.
and we get some funny out of it in the process. So that's
Absolutely. You know what? I think it was a smart move because as much as you want to carry the trademark stuff in, it's good that you were able to
yeah,
get more creative and go into new areas. But I enjoy it thoroughly. I mean,
thanks, man.
you're just as sharp as you ever were, and I constantly find myself quoting lines from both the original and the reboot. So I mean,
It's pretty great.
Chris, you had some questions?
Yeah, I had a question for you. You recently did the George biography.
Right.
Okay, and I've seen all the commercials for it. I have them. I haven't watched it yet. I
Hmm.
plan on watching it over the next week while I've
Yep.
got some time to work. I'm so thrilled that you did that because George Washington, I think, is the greatest president that ever lived.
There's no
What
question.
what was that like for you
Um,
to be part of it?
well, you know what? I've always been a sort of a George Washington fan, and as I've watched our public school system and our sort of culture turn its back on our founding fathers in a way that I think is detrimental to the country. I was very proud to take on the role of a guy that actually reminds people what our history is. It
Yeah.
means a lot to me. And they are George Washington means, I mean, the single-minded energy of that one man that sustained a whole country is extraordinary, and it's rare. And we keep stumbling through this squalid kind of mess called democracy, Republican. I mean, it's a republic as well.
Right.
Because if it's just a democracy, they can take your rights away from you. If it's a republic,
Yeah,
they can't. And
Right.
that's pretty. It's pretty powerful stuff. But people don't know about it. People have
Right.
walked away from it so much, and we turn our back on so much of our founding documents. I mean, you got the Declaration of Independence, you got the Constitution, but the Declaration of Independence is pretty much the founding, um, what did you call it, salvo
Right.
of what started our country. That
yeah,
said, well, we've got a few ideas about what we know man is, and man is allowed to be alive. He's allowed to live and pursue freedom, and he's allowed to have liberty and happiness. And it's his work, and
Right.
and our government needs to exist to guarantee his work is protected. And they've walked away from that. They've
Now,
walked away
what
from that a lot.
getting
well,
that part? I'm sorry, Chris. Getting
I,
that part. What is that an uphill battle for you to prepare for that, like a historical figure? I mean, I know there's a multitude of information. Is that a little different than playing a character that's not a real life character? In other words.
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of the lending my some sort of voice to the story of telling the young. This was the young George, the one on Fox. Um,
yeah.
it was just a privilege to have the information be correct. I mean, I happen to know a lot about it, so it's okay to kind of. I'm like the last
So
the
you were
last
your own
governor on
fact
it.
checker.
Yeah, exactly. But they're in the same boat I am, basically. And when you're talking about the young George Washington, of course, and he's a man of ambition, he's a man of frustration, he's a man who's disappointed, he was a man who was let down a lot of times, but he always had the balls to get back in the fight, and that's an amazing guy.
Well,
And no matter, go
I
ahead, go
just,
ahead.
I want to tell you. I apologize for interrupting. I just wanted to tell you when I first saw the commercial on the Fox News channel. I jumped out of my chair. I was like, "This is amazing." I was
Oh,
I
that's
was,
great.
and you are the perfect voice for it to be the spokesperson to be part of that. And it was just I was so proud.
Thank you, man.
It made
Thank
me a
you
proud
very much.
day when I saw that commercial.
I deeply appreciate that. We just finished doing another one. We did Lexington and Concord.
Okay,
Oh
So
wow.
that'll be
Okay.
out sometime probably in March. But it's just so dynamic what these people did, and we don't know it. I want to do the Fort McKinley thing too, the one about the battle in Baltimore Harbor, the Star Spangled Banner. That
Yeah.
story is it's so breathtaking. I mean, Francis Scott Key was just a guy who was sent to negotiate a prisoner swap, and they took him out to the boats, and there he was on this prison ship, basically with a British uh, admiral, and the admiral said, "It's a good thing you're here tonight. You may as well spend the night because by tomorrow, that flag won't be there."
Oh wow.
And he looked out on 100 ships around him, and they started bombarding while he was on board this ship. And so the whole night, all the prisoners and Francis Scott Key, their determination was to pray that that flag wouldn't fall. And what happened on the other side, where the flag was, men kept replacing it who were killed, and then others would step up to hold it.
Oh wow.
It's a story we don't know about too much,
Right.
and I want that one to come out because
Your voice lends perfect to it because
it's
you could hear the emotion and the passion behind it, and I thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
thank
That's
you.
gonna be a really that's gonna be a really great that's gonna it's gonna hit you when they actually get to see it.
It's an extraordinary story, and when you see all these people that denigrate the Star Spangled Banner and the song itself, and also our flag, uh, it really stood for something,
Yeah.
and it's great to remind people of that.
So we actually met. I think when you came to New Jersey, you were promoting Faith American Brewery,
Yeah,
and it was funny because at the time, this was during the impeachment trials, and I think you had a publicist or an assistant named Adam, and I was like,
Mhm.
I'm glad Adam can connect us, and I was able to come out, and you're like, Adam Schiff. I'm like, I don't think he has time to schedule your person. I'm like, I think you got the wrong Adam. But how's the brewery going? I heard it's extremely successful.
It's going all right. We're picking up customers one bit at a time. As I say, I'm trying to make Faith American America's beer of choice one beer at a time, and
Absolutely, yeah.
that's what it comes down to. It's like you put a beer in somebody's hand, and they enjoy it, and they say, "Oh, this is good beer." That's all I ask. And then
Right.
what happens is people tend to go, "You know what? That is good beer." We've gotten a couple of testimonials now that come in on the website, and one guy said, "Holy crap! I tried this beer, and it's the best beer I ever had." And he said, "It's my new beer," and that's what I'm looking for, to convert all those
I
people, because the number one beer in America right now is Modelo, and I've got nothing against Modelo,
right.
but it's not an American beer, and
Right. We got to do something about that.
Faith
Let's go.
American.
Faith
America
American
needs new
Brewery.
beer.
Yeah. Chris, you had because you were surprised he's from Jersey, right?
Well, yeah, okay. You're from Jersey.
Yeah.
In typical East Coast, what you would ask a person, what exit are you from?
No, I know. I don't really remember. I think if you get off on Highway 35, I lived in Atlantic Highlands. I know that's
Oh, okay.
that's one of
Oh,
them.
okay. I don't know.
Red Bank,
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
Bank. Molly Pitcher Inn. I would always go by it when I was a kid on my way to school.
Oh, okay.
I'm up in Connecticut now, but I'm from Manhattan originally. But
Yeah,
I moved to Connecticut, and this morning was 1 degree. What's the temperature by you right now?
it's fairly cool here right now. I think we're about 55.
Oh,
It's
See,
wow.
not,
this
you
is
Okay.
know,
the t-shirts
it's
weather.
it's not too bad. But yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt. No, I know. I've got my buddy who's working with me on the brewery in Albany. We spoke yesterday morning, and he said, "Yeah, it's 5 degrees here." I said, "Okay, yeah."
Wait,
'Cause it's
the brewery's up in Albany?
we brew outside of Albany. Yeah, yeah. I was born in
Okay.
the Catskills. The whole trip that's out of New York
That's less
originally.
than 2 hours from me.
Is
Yeah.
that
Oh, cool.
Kelsey? Is that all over, or is that just Northeast right now? The beer, or is it like all
It's
over the
just
country?
it's just New York and New Jersey right now, and we're opening up Wichita um, at the end of January. We're
Oh,
opening
good,
Wichita,
good.
and we hope we actually pick up about 6 states out of that little hub area. That surrounding area.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
really excited about that because the beer we've got 5 flavors now. We're about to open up. We're going to bring the hazy out in the Midwest, and I think it's really going to be popular. So I'm
yeah.
really
Well, we
excited.
got to expand, Kelsey. We got to get Mo Green out of the Tropicana. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
So
We're gonna
I'm
be. I'm there. I'm back on. I'm on the 9th. I'm at the Palm. They're dedicating a sketch of me on the wall.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
awesome. Okay,
so I'll be
cool.
there.
Now I'm going to ask you, like I did. You got to listen after the holidays.
Hmm.
You got to call Stallone and tell him he needs to bring back Napoleon
Okay.
and the Expendables because I love
Okay.
that
I'll
guy.
tell him. I don't
I
have
want to
to
see
do
you get
the.
into it. I want to see you get into it.
No,
You got
I'd
to.
like to. I'd like to like have some reason to be in the fight. That's the big thing. Have what
When
you
you
get.
were when you were doing X-Men, what was that like?
Oh, fantastic! I love that part. That's one of my favorite characters.
Is
Um,
it?
it's we had a great bit of reaction when I did the little cameo at the end of the Marvels, which I know the film was a little uneven or received in an uneven way, but people almost universally said, "Holy crap, there he is! There's Beast!" And there's a lot of folks that say, the original Beast, and yeah, I feel that way about it too. So we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping maybe we get to do him again someday.
It's funny because, like I said, me and Chris are huge fans here. So I called him the other day, and it's so funny. We were both watching down Periscope at the same time without even
Yeah,
knowing it.
yeah.
Thank you.
No, the best line in that movie is when you said to Lauren Holly, "Lieutenant Lake, you're almost out of uniform."
Yep, almost out of uniform. That's right. And I like one of my personal favorites is that she turns to me at the end of the movie and she says, "What's this I hear about a tattoo?" And then I say, "Well, it's a long story."
Oh, I love that. But so Kelsey, let me when it comes to scripts and people come to you and approach you, um, what does it need to have for you? I mean, do you gravitate towards the comedy, or a good script is a good script? Like for
Well,
you
you
to
know
want to
what?
get involved, what is it? Got to grab you right from the get go, or
It's got to have something unique that I probably haven't done before, that I haven't exactly done before. Proximity wise, I mean, it's my instrument, my voice. Every part I do is going to have my voice. I might do something really charactery once in a while, or put some makeup on and change the voice a little. But it has to have heart. It has to be about something. It has to be about something that you believe in. Uh, for instance, when I did the Jesus Revolution, I was kind of having a little crisis about, my career at the time, and I thought to myself, "What the hell? I haven't done anything that meant anything." Now, we can all argue about that, but
are you kidding me? Yeah,
I
I was
know, I
like,
know.
what?
But this is what the kind
Hey,
of
man,
hairpin I am. But I did said I want to do something that means something. The next morning, that script landed on my door,
Oh wow.
and I read it in about 20 minutes, and I called my agent and said, "I'm doing this movie." It was great. So it comes down to that, something I believe in, something that I believe is true, something of the human heart, and then I'm happy. And it can be funny or sad, one or the
Right,
other.
as,
right.
as you go on with your career, do you find you want to do things? Listen, your comedy is second to none to me. I mean,
Yeah.
the way you come across is just great. But I also like when you play serious stuff too. What do you prefer?
I like it all. I like every
Yeah,
one of them because it's about the relationship between you and the audience and the words that have been on the page. And you pull them off the page, you make them live and breathe, and then the audience gets to respond to it. And that's the key. It started in theater for me when I was younger.
Right.
But so you have to wait a little while. There's sort of a delayed reaction when you do television. All of a sudden, we shot all these shows, and then boom, they were in people's homes, and people said, "Hey, this is pretty great." That response is, what you live for, and
Absolutely.
that's kind of what I just keep doing. And trying to
your
think.
Broadway,
Go ahead.
your Broadway recruit. You did Macbeth, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you did Othello.
Yeah.
What was it like stepping out on the stage on Broadway?
Oh, it's fantastic. There's nothing quite like it. It's what I always dreamed of when I was a kid. So it's like to be able to do it, and to put on what they call the jester's motley, and and to do it in front of people is fantastic. When they stand up and they're cheering for you, it's that's there's nothing like that.
I always
That's in the
said as
movie.
an actor that doing theater is the best preparation, because if you could do theater, which is a daily thing, and it's a lot to memorize, and then you go into a movie where you have to do a scene where there's only like a page of dialect, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah, no, it is, and you have to know you have to know what show you're doing. You got to know what medium you're in. I mean, theater requires a whole different kind of athletic approach. Film, you can walk in the morning and read the page and go, "Okay, I got this. Let's go do it."
Right, right.
But
Well, when you were in the theater and you were on stage, did you ever end up breaking character or something just threw you
oh
off
yeah,
for a
sure, all
second?
the time. The great thing about theater is that accidents happen,
Right.
and you can either pretend it didn't happen,
Or just
which
go with
makes
it.
everybody uncomfortable for a couple of minutes, or you simply stop the show and say, "Okay, we got to go back." And when you invite them into that, the audience is always over the moon about it.
Well, yeah,
Years
then
and
it,
years and
yeah.
years ago, I was doing gun tricks in a show. It was set in the Wild West, and I had actually I was I'd strapped 6-shooters on my legs in the house I was living in just to practice a quick draw, right? And I bought 6 alarm clocks, and whenever the alarm clock would go off, I'd turn and shoot, right? Pull, clear leather and shoot. So
Well,
I
when
got
you
pretty good at it. So when it came down to the moment on stage, the very first night with the very first audience, the guy says, my guy who's going to be my father, who ends up being my father in the play, says, "I see no weapons here." And I said, "Oh yes, sir, here are weapons." And I cleared the the leather and I flipped out the guns. And when you do fast draw, you pull the hammer back on the way out of the leather, right? So I released the hammer on both of them, and this guy had a powder pattern right in the middle of his
are you serious?
Oh my
right in the middle of his chest. I went,
Oh my lord!
"Oh crap!"
Oh
And
my
so I
God.
just I just turned to the audience and stopped. I said, "Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Let me show you what's really supposed to happen."
Oh
I went
my
through the
God.
whole thing with him, and I got the actor to kind of pretend because the actor looked at me and first went like this, went, "Oh." I said, "No, no."
He was
So
trying to roll with it.
yeah, you gotta be alive in like 2 hours. So
You know what it is? When you make a mistake like that, it just shows the people in the audience that you're actually human. You
oh
know,
yeah,
and
Humanizes, yeah.
and I get to look behind the curtain. I mean, the day after, the president of a bank in Santa Fe, New Mexico, wrote a note saying, "I'm donating $100,000 to that theater because that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life."
that's great.
Oh
That's
wow.
wonderful.
Talk
So
about that.
it was really great.
Now, Kelsey, you said you directed the last episode of season 2 of the
Right.
Frasier reboot. Is there any plans to like spend more time behind the camera, you'd rather be in the front?
Well, no, I like doing both. I like loading up my plate a little bit, so I'm kind of just a little bit out of my element. Now, when I'm doing the show, when I'm doing Frasier, of course, it's pretty easy, pretty second nature. I've been doing it a long time.
Right.
But I've got a film coming up that we're shopping right now. We think it's going to go about the Civil War, and
Okay.
a lot of battle scenes in that, and I'm going to try my hand at that, and we're all pretty excited about it. But and then I'm going over to England to shoot another film or two, and those are I gotta not talk too much about those because they're sort of on the under the radar.
Right, right. I
Uh,
got you.
but I just like working. I love working.
So you like to venture in uncharted waters because it's a challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
I
for
got you.
sure.
I just love that you're such a history buff too. I love it. It
It's
just
it's so relevant to us. It's like
yeah,
well, if you don't have the kind of visceral understanding of what human beings have been through before, you're just gonna always be blindsided by life. And these are lessons. These are lessons that if you listen, if you pay attention a little bit, you can direct your path to avoid some of them. You might make some of the same mistakes, but
Right.
as a country, we don't have to. And we seem hell bent to keep
We're going
strengthening
to
that
hell in a
course.
handbasket.
But we have a real chance if we honor our history to make sure our future is good. And that's
Yeah.
it.
I mean, listen, I loved history in high school. I know people made fun of me for that, but it is very interesting.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And the only thing is, though, what I don't like is that you go and you study all this, and people say, "Well, that's not what really happened," and you got to get the naysayers.
Right. Well, okay, I get that. History's written by the victors and all that. I do get that. But you can take a little time to research a couple of sources and get to the truth. You can.
Right, right.
Yeah,
It's there. You might have to dig a little, but it's there.
exactly.
Chris?
all right. On to Transformers.
Mm,
What was that? You played an iconic role to me. You were strong. It was a strong character,
yeah.
very demanding, and it seemed like a demanding role as well. What was it like? I mean, it's a green screen that you're in front of with these when you're talking to like the
Well,
robots?
yeah, there's some of that. Yeah, it's not as much as you'd think. You do get to kind of have an organic exchange with the actors. I mean, Mark and I did a couple scenes together, and uh, I was
Oh,
talking to my henchman, my buddy in it. I mean, we were always in a car together or doing
Yeah,
something
yeah.
together.
right.
Uh, I loved working with Michael Bay. He's just a profound sort of he's an arrested development, beautiful creative child who was walking around in a man's body. I mean, he turned to me and said, "They gave me $170 million to make this. I got
All
to do
right.
something." So I'm looking at explosions going off as we're running through the streets of Detroit. And I thought, it's okay. It's pretty impressive. I
I'm
love that
glad that they did
character.
it organically because I would have thought there was all CGI involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there is that element, but we're not really involved in that. I mean, when the Autobots are really fighting with themselves most of the time. Autobots, it's a
Oh
they
wow.
put that all on the screen. It's amazing.
The
I'm
gentleman,
blown away by it.
the gentleman who does Optimus Prime's voice. Did you meet him too, or no?
No, no, but I'm
No.
so impressed with that. I love
You
Optimus Prime.
got that type of voice too, though.
Yeah, yeah, I do, but that one's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, yeah. So Kelsey, you have such an accomplished career, um, and you've made such memorable TV and movies for us all. Do you have a bucket list professionally that you have yet to conquer?
I got a couple of Shakespeare plays I still want to do. I want to do The Tempest, and I want to do Lear.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
but there
Okay.
might be another couple out there. But I might even do another Macbeth actually because I got a couple ideas about that. Uh, but no, you know what? It's just to keep trying, keep working on stuff I haven't done. Try to find things I still find appealing. I would really like to do something with Paradise Lost. The Milton poem.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But that's a big undertaking. But boy, it's a beautiful piece, man. I think it's cinematic in scope. When he basically dictated the poem to his daughter. Uh, it's so powerful visually in the words. They talk about Satan being as tall as a pine tree. Uh, it's breathtaking stuff. Really, really. So I'd love to see that on film. So we'll see. That's
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely, and we look forward to it. And I want to thank Social Olivas for making this happen. I know it was last minute, Kelsey, but
yeah, that's all right, man.
you've always stepped up for us, even during COVID. One of your interviews, well, I think it was the first time we got to speak to you, was an amazing. It was so well received, and you're beloved for our men and women overseas. And
Thanks,
like
man.
I've said, and I want to make sure I reiterate this for with all of our guests coming on, as much as the men and women who serve our country love to hear, "Hey, thank you." Um, they always tell me because we always tell them, "Hey, we're going to have this person on," and they always say, "Please let them know that," because some of these people are in forward areas,
Yeah,
and the bottom could drop out at any minute. Sometimes they might get an hour to watch an episode of Frasier, listen to music, whatever, and they just wanted me to thank you for the entertainment value that you've given them. That
God
brings them
bless.
home for maybe just a few minutes a day. So, on behalf of them, I wanted to thank you and thank you for being
Appreciate
such a great friend to the show.
appreciate it. There's no greater honor than to serve you guys. That's how I feel about it. I mean, you do what I can't do for myself, and that's amazing. So it's my honor to do it.
Well, weren't you? Didn't you? Were supposed to join the service or something? Your
Oh well,
grandfather's.
no,
I remember that
I was going to
story.
go to the Naval Academy. I wanted to do that. My granddad died, and I kind of just I lost my focus there for a few years, and that's who I was championing and trying to emulate was my granddad. And when he was gone, it just my engine changed, my perspective shifted. I ended up doing this instead. I mean, that's probably for the best, but I the only thing that still is a little hole in me is that I didn't serve, and that's.
Oh, listen, with the entertainment value you provide, believe me, you are
Yeah,
you
I
are
know, I
serving
know,
them in a
man.
way. You are though. I get it though. But
Yeah.
Chris, you want to finish up with anything before we let this
Oh,
gentleman
listen,
go?
I could say is it's listen. God blessed me by bringing Carlo into my life several months ago, and it afforded me the opportunity to just sit here and chat with you for a half hour, 35 minutes, and I can't thank you enough for all the years of happiness you brought to me and members of my family for what you do, but more importantly, the historical shows you're doing now.
Thanks, man.
Really, it touches me, and
Yeah.
I appreciate everything you do, and you're a true gentleman, and
Bless you.
just that's all I can say is thank you
Thank you, man. Merry Christmas to everybody, and
Absolutely.
and your
God bless
family.
you.
Health and happiness in the
Stand
new
fire.
year, Kelsey. Best to the family, and I want you to get better so you don't have to ride
Take
that
care.
scooter
Hey,
anymore.
I'm close. I'm close. Just a
You're
couple of
close.
weeks.
And if you need anything, you just have Social reach out because you have
All
an
right,
open
man.
door.
Thank you so
thank
much.
All
you.
right.
God bless. Merry
All right, guys.
Christmas.
Thank
Take
you all,
care.
guys. I want to
You
thank
bet.
our special guest, Kelsey Grammer, for stopping by, especially since it was last minute. Um, so that was really good. I really
It was
liked it.
amazing. Bye, Kelsey.
Thanks, guys. So long. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that how important it is at this time of the year because, and the reason why I mean, we do this show all year round, but the reason why we do this is because there's some men and women who are not going to get to come home this holiday season and spend time with their loved ones. And I know, that's really rough for some people, and but
know something? I get to be honest with you. That was amazing.
oh, there's more to come. Yeah, I haven't been even begun to pull out my my contacts. This is just a little. I'm giving you a little.
Know that, but
This is
listen,
sprinkles on the ice cream cone. You know
it
the
went
sprinkles.
from Tim to Eric to Cynthia on Friday night to Kelsey. Wow.
Believe it or not, all the interviews I've done, Cynthia is my favorite artist.
That's because you like her.
No. It has nothing to do. I like her as a person. I like the fact that she is such a role model for people.
No.
If you look at her page, she's always posting uplifting, positive stuff. And
I know.
And her music is and her and Dom are the like two greatest people. And I just really enjoyed it because I've been wanting to do that interview for a while. That was like a bucket list for me, and I got to do that. And she's just a beautiful person inside and out. And Dom is an awesome individual. And like I'm glad that I was able to get that opportunity.
Well, how did you feel about today?
Today it was awesome. I see. I know Kelsey. This is like a couple times, and so I feel real comfortable. I was very nervous the other day speaking with Cynthia because I haven't really talked to her like that. I seen her at the toy drive and we talked. But like, and she's very down to earth. She's not like a snooty Hollywood celebrity or nothing. She didn't forget where she came from, and that's huge. That's huge.
Well, listen, I know we have people here in TikTok watching as well, so I'm going to chat as much as I could. But I really wanted to listen to everything he had to say because I've always liked him. I've always respected him as an actor. But when he started doing this George Washington thing and he's doing the stuff with the Fox channel, it stepped him up multiple levels because he's a historian. He likes history and he wants to portray it in the right frame, the right manner. And I can't thank him enough for doing what he did. That's why I had to say.
I love his voice. I wish I had his voice.
Oh, his voice. Listen, he's got what. Well, that's why he was great as Sideshow Bob. And I wanted to bring that up, but then listen. You know what? Listen, let him do his thing. Let him groove. I didn't want to keep jumping from character to character.
No, that's fine. It was good, short and sweet. You don't want to, because this was a last minute thing. He's with his family.
Yeah, so,
the fact that we even got him is a miracle. Believe me.
But I appreciate that, and I don't know what to say, man. It's cool. It was very cool, But I'll give you a call in a little bit. Let me get back to work. All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later. All right, everybody.
I'll call you in about a half hour.
I want to thank you all for coming in today and joining us. Stay tuned for the next episode because you never know what you're going to get. All right, guys. We'll see you all next time.